can you give us sort of I don't know if there is ever a typical day
Sure.
for you, but um, you preside over mass. You mentioned so do you do a morning mass, and then I thought you were also presiding over the candlelight mass.
Good questions. Yeah. So we as a community have morning mass every day at 7:15. I would say I'm learning my adjustments and rhythms and what I can do and what I could do at 40 that I can't do at 44. Uh, 6 hours of sleep I could do. I can't quite do that anymore.
4 years, really? That's what we have.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said that's the big change, 44. Uh, so I would say the typical day would be getting up around 6:30, getting a cup of coffee, praying with the scripture and readings. I actually do my exam in a pretty lengthy one in the morning, and I go back over the day before and look for graces. Uh, and then I've shifted my schedule a little bit so that I'm coming in the office about 9:30, but I'll do some pre-email work before I go in, and then 9:30, and then it's like hit the door running it. There's typically meetings with students or spiritual direction, meetings in campus ministry, and then the evenings, and then I'll usually have lunch. Not always, but often I'd say 2 or 3 times a week, lunch with a student or faculty, staff, or group of people, and then have dinner, work till about 6 and then have dinner. And then there might be some evening programming and or if there'll be a mass. I usually preside at the 9 p.m. mass on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So it's a full day. Yeah, I have to remind myself that it's awesome to serve. It's awesome to be in the community, but I need to also make time for God and for myself. And I'm not, maybe I'm overly generous with my time that I don't, I'm overly generous to people that I'm maybe not always generous to God. And so making that intentional.
That's a good reminder for all of us,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can get kind of wrapped up in our work responsibilities,
Yeah.
family.
I think I've been challenged too. Like there might even be uh, a false generosity in that. Like I want to constantly be with people. I want to constantly be with people that, as Jesuits, we resoundingly say the first thing to go in our life is actually prayer, because you can't, you have to make time for people and you have to make time for work. So what's the thing that oftentimes goes first is prayer. I think that's a problem or a challenge that most of us have faced. That how do you keep that time with God? And it's funny how we say God is the center of our life, and yet I feel like, well, God understands, so God can deal with me only talking to God for 5 minutes today, and I think for a day or two that's okay, but imagine any other relationship where you do that, like,
I immediately thought about my wife.
exactly, the most important relationship in your life, and then it's like I can give you 5 minutes today. Well, we say that God's the most important relationship in our life, and yet we give a minute or two or five. Um, and not that, we can say, well, does God really need that? I would say maybe God doesn't need it, but we need it. We need it.
Yeah.